And because this Blackboard thing is not there, I think I will use some video lectures to explain those algorithms. It's not possible to even use this whiteboard. Even if you are using this Teams whiteboard and all, it may not be. It's not very easy to explain. Online. So I think we will use a few video lectures to explain those algorithms. So in the last class, see, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in the last class, I told you that I was telling you that generally distributed systems are synchronous or asynchronous. Synchronous means there is a upper bound and lower bound of time. That means the process has to be executed within the lower and the upper bound. Having said that, majority of the world distributed systems are not synchronous, they are asynchronous. They happen in their own pace. I told you internet is such a asynchronous distributed system. See, I send you a mail, that mail will be lying in your inbox, but I send it. Sometimes the mail may reach in 1 second. The mail may take 1 year to reach also. We don't know, because it is going through the network of networks, that is the internet, and it can get lost on the way and so on. So there is some sort of, it's an asynchronous network. So what we have to do is we need to have clocks to synchronize. So every computer has got a clock. That is an atomic clock, which is pretty accurate. But it is not necessary that that computer may function perfectly. The computer may have some problems. It may be wear and tear may cause the clock to not have some low accuracy. Other problems may happen. So there could be clock skew, right? There could be a skew in the clock. There could be a drift in the clock. Even the clock is something that is oscillating. It may not oscillate properly. So we are always likely to have this kind of issues of clock skew and clock drift because of various things. So the idea is, if we can synchronize ourselves with an atomic clock or some universal clock, it's good, but that is not possible all the time. So what we can do is, if we, in many cases, we need to have some sort of synchronization. So we can put a request to a time server, which is probably based on universal coordinated time, which is based on some atomic clock, which is very, very accurate to the milli or microsecond or picosecond. And then we can get updates and synchronize ourselves. It is like syncing your iPhone, something like that. So all distributed systems will have to have an elaborate fashion of synchronizing on and off, because they are all independent. More or less they are independent, they are autonomous. They need to always synchronize with something, because they have to talk to each other. Now I will give you a simple example. I am talking to you on the mobile phone, or I am talking to you on Microsoft Teams. If you three of you are talking with me at the same time, none of us will be able to hear each other. Am I right? The entire conversation will become completely garbled and confused, garbled and not possible to comprehend. If we go on talking, it will my voice, three of you are talking, four of you will, the voice will be garbled and nobody will understand anything for that matter. Same way, we need to have some sort of synchronization, and this is one way that we request a time server. We can also have a synchronization through a hierarchy, where there is a primary server. From one, the synchronization will go to two, which is a primary server. Three is a secondary server. Like that, we can have a kind of a network. Now there is a problem. If two gets broken down, then there should be some way to bypass two and go to the other way to three. Those issues are always going to be there when there is a network time protocol implementation, and synchronization has to be in the form of a network subnet. But if some node on the subnet is removed, it becomes a problem. So today we are going to see the basic idea of coordination and agreement. This is what I told you. We will need, when I want to talk to all of you have to remain silent. Otherwise, what I am taking in the class, you will not be able to understand. Likewise, if three of you are, I'm asking questions and two of you ask questions at the same time, again there is a problem. We won't be able to hear either question. So there needs to be a kind of a coordination and agreement within a distributed system. And this coordination and agreement is further complicated by the fact that in between there may be routers, networks, nodes, or even complete networks can get crashed. And then you have a problem, because ultimately it's a network of networks and you are going to that side. Something in between is broken down, you have to go for an alternate path or a different path. So these issues create a lot of complications, and these complications have to be considered. One way is, probably you have learned this in networks also, there are some token bus. This is a token bus. This is more not a token. This is a kind of a token system. So there is a server, there are many clients. Everybody wants to use execute a process and contact the server. So everybody cannot do it at the same time. Then it will become a complicated situation. Same like you are asking a question. There are questions. You put the questions in a queue. So these questions are nothing but the request for the token. If P1, P2, P3, P4 all want to contact the server, all will put a request to the server. The tokens are kept in a queue. Then based on the queue, the server will release grant the token. Once the token is used, this node will release the token. Then the server will send it to the next, grant the token to the next node in the priority. So this is a very, very simple but straightforward and very, very nice arrangement, whereby we are able to use tokens and able to give information to everybody. So I'll again repeat, P1, P2, P3, P4 are all the nodes. Each node wants the server. So each will send a request token. Those request tokens will be put in a queue or a priority. Once the priority is fixed, the server will grant the token to the first node in the priority. That node will use the token, execute the process, and release the token. Then the server will pass it back. Now another way is, we can have our bus. This is a token bus. The token is moving in the network, so it is continuously circulating in the network. So if the token is available with P4, first the token comes to P4. P4 wants to execute a process. It will use the token. Then it passes by. It comes to P1. Now P1 gets the token at some point of time. It doesn't need it, so it just drops. It doesn't say I don't want the token. Then it goes on to P2. P2 also does not want the token. It just passes it on to P3. P3 now, on the other hand, wants the token. It will use the token and execute and pass it on. So this process will go on continuously, and the token is moving in a network. Now there are many elaborate algorithms for this coordination and agreement. They are very subtle. They are highly conceptual. Unless you understand them, you will be completely lost. I myself have looked into 5-6 lectures, because some are not so clear. So I have selected. I have to somewhere it's there in my. I think it's in my my iPad. I have to check that. Anyway, that is very subtle algorithms. Unless you understand, it's very, very difficult to comprehend unless you clearly understand. They are, this is a simple one, Riccati and Agrawala's algorithm. There is multicast synchronization. That's also a complicated algorithm. Makawa's algorithm. Then there is an election process. There is a Bully algorithm. Then finally, there is a problem of 3 Byzantine and 4 Byzantine generals. So all these are highly complicated algorithms. Now, as this course is having a tutorial, I want to make it as simple as possible for you folks. I know you guys have reached the 4th year and all, but now itself you can think that you will have to do some execution of these algorithms. That will be a kind of a mini project come to tutorial. I will call it a tutorial, but you will have to think on how you can execute these algorithms using original code in whatever what should I say, a language or platform that you want to do. Start thinking about it now itself, and from next class we will see. Anyway, Monday there will be, I'll take classes on Monday and Tuesday most likely. After that, maybe 1 or 2 days I may not take classes. Okay, that's all from my side. Let us take the attendance. Yeah.